The book I would like to show today throughout this layer, which is part of the defense of the Modern Gurgenidze, is a counter-punching repertoire for black. Now, what is the Gurgenidze? Let's start with a thing that generally e4, d6 is the pirk. e4, g6 is the modern, and sometimes when you play d6, right? But the Gurgenidze is based on the idea of playing c6 and d5 at the right time, and eventually it could transpose into a Caro-Kann. Okay? This book has been written by Jan Elvest. Here you can see the chapters, a lot of chapters as you can see, so it's well covered theoretically. Each chapter starts with a theory part, very long, full of lines, and then there are some model games. I will show you one of the model games because honestly the theory it's kind of boring to me. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I prefer to be honest. Okay? The game I decided to show you is a game number 24 between Busboom and Elves, so the author of the book, in Groningen 1982. Now, Busboom, I just made a review of this book because he's an international master, Dutch, and they just published a book in New in Chess. So, Busboom is white, e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, knight c3, c6, and okay, f4, d5. As you can see, black challenges white, so this is a kind of good in a sense. e5, knight h6, knight f3, oh wow, f6, this is interesting, bishop d3, and here there is a diagram. Generally, you know, when they put a diagram you start to pay attention because there must be something they are trying to tell you, so try to think what you would play if you were black. The game continues with bishop g4, and the author writes, when the white king has not yet castled, it is better to postpone this move, because in some lines white can castle long. So yeah, however it says that castle is a more precise move order. Okay, it seems he contradicts himself, because again he says that now you should have played this, this and this. So it says is a more precise move order. So this is the move order that he should have had and he didn't play, right? So bishop g4, h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, and castle. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why to play bishop g4, because here in fact he just gave up to the opponent, white, where it's castling, and so where the attack should be. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so now we played e6. Wow. I don't know, this move seems a little too fast, because unfortunately again, once you move a pawn it can go back, so before moving it you need to really think, no? And here it says it was better to take on f6. Boom. Rook takes f6, bishop d2, knight d7, h4, e5, and knight takes d5, and white gets an attack and then armada of pawns for the piece. Okay. So I don't know, again, let me pause the video and see again what's going on here and return back to the position that it was, okay? Okay, sorry guys, I return back to this position because the bishop g4 move didn't make much sense to me. For example, he says, he plays this and then he says, when the white king has not yet castled, it is better to postpone this move. So why did he play it? I mean, didn't he study this opening? 1. 2. The thing is really that h3 is kind of automatic in some of this position. So why do you want to lose the bishop pair? At the same time, why do you want to play this? Because if you play this, this is dead. So it's really bad, right? And you need to develop this queen side, so you are obliged to take it out. But castling right away puts a target, a clear target on that king. I don't know. This just shows me that maybe I wouldn't like to play a line that is this kind of close and with this kind of problems. I wouldn't feel comfortable. So I believe it's important that each player discover who they are. This is not me, definitely. Okay? Okay. h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, castle, and e6. This again wasn't the best move, okay, but it seems logical because, I'm sorry, why do you feel the need to move this pawn when you still have to finish the development? I don't know. Just because he wants to prevent this from going here, but then, well, I don't know. It doesn't seem right. f5 and g4. Now the author puts a diagram here when the pawn is on g2, and it says that there is a unique computer discovery. And let me tell you why it's a discovery. So the computer wants to play king d1, and it says a unique computer discovery at this point is this move, no? This paradoxical move would have given white enough counterplay. For example, clearly the computer, and here there is a line that is like 8-9 moves long, the computer that sees 20 moves ahead saw that this was impossible to support, and computers are really good at defending, so he found that probably this is the only move to try to support that, which is crazy, because which human would do this, right? I don't know. But at the same time, which human would start an attack with g4 and the king in the center, and this it's not stable? I don't know. Again, it doesn't make much sense, right? Queen d6, queen e2, rook f6. Now black has a clear advantage. Wow, yeah, tell me about it. Bishop e3, rook takes e6, g takes f5. I don't know, Jan Elvest is a grandmaster, the other guy is an international master. I think it would be difficult for everyone to have a guess White's rating, but okay. Knight takes f5, bishop takes f5, g takes f5. Oh, finally discover that in the opening you can castle at move 16. Knight d7. Obviously here we see that white has a better black has a better position. Why? Well, not only because of this, but because this is more active. Now this will come into the game. He has a nice pawn structure. I don't know, it seems clear, no? Rook dg1 and rook g6, just in time. Queen h5, queen e6, bishop f2, queen f7, rook e1, e6, queen f3, and now there is knight f6, and here there is the sign that black has a decisive advantage. There is a comment by the author which says the rest is easy. King b1, knight e4, knight takes e4, f takes e4, queen b3, b6, bishop e3, so now a bishop is stopping an advance and pass pawn, which means -3, right? Rook c8, queen a4, c5, d takes c, b takes c, h4, rook b8, bishop c1, queen f6, queen a3, boom, rook g3. Very nice move, right? Now things are really going bad. c3, rook takes c3, queen a6, obviously rook takes c1. As we can see, tactics flow from a superior position, like Fischer said, I think, right? Rook takes c1, queen takes b2, the game is clearly over. King d1, queen d4, king e2, and rook b2, and at this point white threw the towel, it seems. Now there is another game here between Bukhuti and Gurgenidze, played in Kislovodsk in 1968, that I would like to see, because I think since it's Gurgenidze, the name of this opening, let's see how he played it, right? So let's be curious about it. I will put the pieces in the right position. Okay, now let me show you this game, Bukhuti Gurgenidze, Kislovodsk in 1968, okay? e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, knight c3, c6, f4, d5, e5, h5. Okay, this is interesting, because you see, black is not trying to give up where he's going to castle, yet we know that probably it will not be the king's side. Okay, and here there is a diagram, and it says, this line is about the blockade. Black tries to secure the king side and then attack the center. White always has a space advantage, but black has a very solid position with no pawn weaknesses. Knight f3, knight h6, bishop e3, and bishop g4. Black is always happy to trade this bishop. Nowadays the problem is that with the computers we have learned that the bishop pair is really a huge advantage. And computers use it really in amazing ways. Bishop e2, e6, queen d2, knight d7, and castle on the queen side. Here it says, the wrong plan, breaking black defenses on the king side is not an easy task. The general plan is that white actually needs to play on the queen side, after black has successfully blockaded the king side. Now, with this king castle on the wrong flank, white has no real play on either side of the board. Correct was castling on the king side with equality, it says, okay? So not castling on the queen side. b5. As you can see, when you give up the place where you are going to put your king too early, the opponent can start his attack. Black's plan is to transfer the knight to c4. Tack and tack. h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and h4. This is an interesting move, and this says the standard blockading move. Obviously interesting because 1, 2, okay? So it becomes an outpost in enemy territory. Bishop f2 and bishop f8. Wow, what a beautiful move. Again, a typical repositioning. The bishop has no future on g7. Okay, this makes sense, right? This bishop here wasn't doing nothing. He was a kind of pawn. Knight e2, knight f5, king b1, knight b6, and bishop g4. In this position, it seems white should have played this move, b3. But of course, black can play this, so it's a problem, right? Yeah, so I don't know. Bishop g4. Knight c4. Queen e1. Now you can see that white is going bad. Why? Because his pieces are all going back. And the black, honestly, is kind of having an advantage, definitely on the queen side. The king side is blocked, so you have to attack on the side, okay? Yeah. a5, bishop takes f5, g takes f5. Look how black is not in a hurry to castle, right? He thinks that his king is perfectly safe in the center and is keeping it there. And knight g1, this seems a mistake, it's too slow, essentially sealing white's doom. It would have been better to play knight c1. Obviously you need to bring the pieces where you are attacked in order to fight. But if you bring them on the wrong side, it becomes too late. Bishop b4, queen e2, a4, and the knight f3. Now, please pause the video because you really need to find this. This is amazing. The author put a diagram here, okay? So, what would you play if you were black? The move is bishop c3. Wow, amazing move. B takes c3, queen e7, and bishop e3. And now there is a comment with an annotation about this line, but in the end black is still winning, okay? So bishop e3, b4, queen e1. In this case he also calculated above this, knight d2, but there is a checkmate, so already here it's a problem. So queen e1, b3, c takes b3, a takes b3, bishop c1, and rook takes a2. Okay? But notice that black can win also if he played b takes a2, okay? Rook d2, and queen a7, and white resign. So this is really a nice game, honestly, a nice game which shows us how once the center is blocked, you need to fight on the wings, on the sides, and white didn't actually fight at all, wasn't even able to go there, while black actually achieved victory. Once more, this is a very interesting book if you are interested in a repertoire for black with this opening. Notice that this is the good thing of this kind of openings, that you can adapt them both if they play d4 or e4, because you are actually try to achieve that kind of pawn structure, not a fixed move order, okay? So I hope you will enjoy this book.